Yep, it's good. Back for my second video, showing y'all another little beat I made right quick. Um, really no point in doing a whole lot of talking. If you watch my first video, you know what the whole purpose of this is for. So let's get right into it. Alright, with this one right here, let's see. I started off with another brass and I played it in chords. Sounds like this. Something simple. Um, and I use choir to label it. Not label it, I'm sorry. I use a choir to layer it. Something pretty simple. It sounds like this. It's a little off right there. Alright, now let's listen to it. Something pretty simple. Basically followed the same thing, same pattern as I did here. After that I had a little melody. And it sounds something like this. Pretty simple. After that I use a low brass. No, actually I didn't. It's this sound right here in a dance lead on Nexus. And it sounds like this. Again, I basically layered this right here. Sounds like another simple thing. I got just a basic snare on here. There's no reverb, no nothing. I hadn't had a chance to mess with any of that. A hit, my 808. Again I'm basically layering from up here. And what I normally do is come up here and I'll copy and paste my kick, and then I'll pull it down here and copy it down here, and just go in and stretch it out so when the 808 hits, it's hitting at the same time the kick does. And then whatever you do, you make sure you go in there and EQ it, make room for the 808, and on the kick side pull that down, and vice versa. I know that sounds a little confusing, but you can send me a message or email or whatever, and I'll try to explain that to you a little bit better. So yeah, next I have my kick. This is like something simple. Hi-hats. I hadn't messed with the velocity of any of this yet, so after that I go to a new pattern. Basically all I did to this pattern was add a little effect within the verse. Fairly simple. You come over here to your mod, click either or. I think will work. This or this for this video. Well, this beat, for some reason I used this one, and you come over here and click that down there, and that'll give you like a little the rub sound. You won't get that effect if you have them even with one another. You have to offset them so you can get that effect. And a little bit later I'll show you what happened if you switch the two. Well, this one will be longer and this one will be shorter. And then on to the next pattern. So with this pattern, basically what I added was a orchestra hit. Something basic, simple, sounds like this. Also in this pattern I added strings. Sounds like this. Something else that's a little simple. Alright, with the next pattern, again, the only thing I added to this was the same effect that I used on this verse. To the next pattern, basically all I did was change the strings I used from what I just used to this one. And basically all that is just me layering sounds again from my main chord. Alright, and then to the next verse, what I did was well, I hadn't did it here, but normally in any situation where you got your tom and your kicks going at the same time, like this is a tom roll, you would come up here and get rid of that. That way, you know, you can EQ your toms the way you want to without getting it in the way of your kick. Or you can just EQ, you can just keep both of them in and EQ them so they won't get in the way of one another. I like to move instruments out that way to give me like a kind of drop effect that I'm looking for, going into a verse into a hook or a hook into a verse. I just like the way that it sounds. I mean, you can do whatever works for you. With this, I added what I was talking about earlier. Same technique as my rise down, my other effect, but this time it's going to sound like it's going upwards. And the only thing I did different for this one is I added a gate to it. With my hook, only thing I added was I dropped some instruments out and I added just a simple gated instrument. Actually, it's a string that I put a gate on, so it sounds a little something like this. Something fairly simple. And with this hook, the second, basically all I did was add another effect in, leading me back into my verse. And I have just a simple crash on its own pattern. And with the intro, basically I have what I already had made from the other patterns. And this pattern is basically the second part to my intro. All I added was an effect, same effect that I got in some of my other patterns. And that's about it. And of course I have my tag.
Production.
Yeah. if you seeing this right here, this is basically how I like to um, lay mine out, because what I found out, what separating every instrument, what that did for me was junky up my grid over here. So I like to, just split them up by pattern and put them in this way, that way, everything is in one little area. Just my way of doing things. So yep, that's about it. Peace.
Production.